Mhm.
Just want to welcome everybody to our meeting at the Graham County Board of Supervisors, November 13th, 2024. We will have the Pledge of Allegiance. Want to thank everybody for coming today. We have Supervisor Howard online with us. I guess we will turn the time over to Ms. Donna McGoy.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I thought maybe Johnny had to stay behind and finish up biscuits and gravy. It was delicious. I'm here this morning to do the annual or the election canvass of the general election, along with the Board of Supervisors will be doing the rest of it. My portion is the School District Governing Board elections, and I have provided you with the breakdown of the highest vote getters from all of our school districts. We had more races this time than normal. Then we had a few cancellations, and I'm happy to say the cancellations were fewer than they have been in the past. That's I always like to see. I know it adds for a longer ballot, but I think it's the way to go. So I'm just asking you to accept the certification of the winners of the school district governing boards.
Does anybody have any questions, anything you want to add?
Acting Chairman Mack, I've got just a couple comments and a question. I'll start with a question. Were there any of the races that, or was there any information that you received of any problems or concerns or errors? I don't think that there would be, but just checking to see if anyone contacted you to say that there were the election, there was a problem with the election.
Absolutely not. No, never have before. Did you receive any?
No, I did not. But thanks. No. Yeah, I was. It was very, very clean, and I appreciate the fact that that things went so well, and the results were so quick. I've got a report. There's some counties, Santa Cruz and Cochise, are still, as of the last report last night, they were at 67% of the votes had been counted, and Graham County and Greenlee we're done. And,
well, I didn't receive any complaints because of the hard work of Hannah and Polly and all of the workers that
I agree.
Did such an excellent job.
I was going to get into a little more of that as we.
Yeah, it would be very unusual for someone to complain to me about the election.
Very good. Well, and I'm pleased, Superintendent, that you did have more participation. That people are seeing that everything from the college to the individual schools that is something they need to be involved in. So I'm satisfied and thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, you have anything you want to add?
I just echo that, board. I think our elections are just fantastic, and I couldn't be prouder of the hard work that we do in Graham County, especially when you start comparing other counties and some of the problems they have and the length they take to count. Graham County's on it. They all stay late. They work hard. They make sure things are in place. So I'm just very, very happy about our election process. Thank you guys very much.
I agree 100%. You guys work hard and do an amazing job. Can I get a motion?
Yes, thank you, Acting Chairman. I would move that we go ahead and that the board, that we've canvassed the results and that we approve of I guess the word is, we've reviewed and we approve of the results of the school board election from November 5th.
And I'll be happy to second that.
Can I get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Donna.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you, and we will turn the time over to Hannah Duderstadt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm
Morning.
very happy, relieved, and pleased to bring the canvas before the board for approval. I know it's in your packet, but I just give a breakdown of the numbers. So we had a total of 15,327 ballots cast. 9,429 of those were our early ballots. And then for election day, we had 4,946. And on election night, we were here pretty late in the evening. When I sent our final wrap-up for the night to state, I said I wasn't sure if we kept our record as far as being the first to report our election night and be done, and I was informed that we still hold that record. So we made it.
Awesome.
Voter turnout was 74%. On Friday, we had our hand count, and I'm pleased to say that it was a long day, but we did get it done, and the few discrepancies that we found was well within that margin of error, so it just validates that the machines were tabulating correctly. And on Sunday was our last night to cure, and then we finally wrapped everything up and sent that to state. And I do want to take this opportunity to just thank everyone that was involved. Time would fail to mention everyone, all their efforts. Every department jumps in. They drop what they're doing to help out. Polly in her recorder's office was amazing. They carried the brunt of everything, especially with our early ballots. They were flooded, and they worked hard. Polly was here probably every night. We probably should start charging her rent. She lives here basically.
And through the weekends.
And through the weekends, yes. Polly did an amazing job. And I'm happy to work with her. And our IT department, McCoy and his group, they were all hands on deck, especially on election day. They went every direction that we needed. I just so appreciate their help. There's no way we could make it without them. And then, of course, our poll workers did amazing. They were flooded, and I don't think they ever had a break, and it's a 15-hour long day. But they did it. They do it with smiles on their faces. They're kind to everyone. They enjoy what they do. They are the unsung heroes of this, and they're amazing. So I want to shout out to them. And then I'd also like to give a shout out to our county manager, Dustin. He is amazing. He leads by serving. And I do appreciate that example that he is a servant. And I couldn't have made it without his help as well. And the board, thank you for your support. And so with that, I'd like to present the canvas and ask if the board would please approve it.
Any questions, anything anyone wants to add?
Couple comments, Mr. Vice Chairman. That is in looking at the parity between the hand count and the machine count, which puts to bed nicely here in Graham County the idea that machine counts are inaccurate. You mentioned that there was a small differences between, let's say, Peridot, president elector. There were 334 hand counts and 332 machine counts, and with an absolute difference of 2 and a margin, the biggest of all those small discrepancies was just above 0.5%. Again, Peridot had, with the statewide candidates, they had 3 votes out of 625, you may have, given enough iterations, may have been able to resolve some of those. But Peridot, I would just note that our county manager spent 4 hours in Peridot, was well received. The people were gracious. The poll workers, probably a little inexperienced, through no fault of anyone's other than just the getting the thing staffed, and years and years, sometimes it's hard to retain the same people, but even then things change. So you've got great record. The rest of almost all the rest of the hand count versus machines were right on with 0 differences. So that's remarkable. And 2 questions. One is, have you received? I haven't. Have you received any emails or letters of concern about the Graham County's voting processes?
Thankfully, no, I have not received any.
That is terrific. And then I hate to bring this up, but do we have any? Is like the District 6? Is that going to be a recount with as close as that is? Are there any recounts on the horizon that we'll have to mobilize for that?
So I know it's not final, but we've been keeping an eye on it, and I believe that margin has widened enough to where we are not looking at an automatic recount.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And continued respect, appreciation, admiration. It's tremendous. And like I had mentioned before, we're leading the pack. The people with the least do the most. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion?
Mr.
I have a comment first, Clay,
go
please.
ahead. Sorry, John.
No, that's fine. I just want to thank again, Hannah and her team and Dustin and all of us. You guys are an example of how an election is run. I've watched you over the last month or two, however long it's been. You're so dedicated to your work. I see you sit there and you punch buttons and you work hard. You're all around. Polly, the whole bunch of us. We just have an amazing team. And I couldn't be more prouder to be a small part of it. I know we don't do a whole lot, but we do appreciate all the hard work that's put in. And again, I'll reiterate, Dustin Welker is amazing. He's right there. He's a team leader. Your whole team is fantastic. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have been watching the District 6 election very closely. I've been on the phone with the team from District 6, and they feel very positive. They are widening their lead, so that should not be a recount. To answer Supervisor David's question, it doesn't look like it at this point. He's almost 6,000 votes ahead now, so we should be in pretty good shape. But I just want to thank you all very, very much for your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we get a motion on that one?
Mr. Chair, I would move that the Board of Supervisors approves the canvass of the 2024 general election.
And I will second that and gladly second that.
All right, can we get a vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. All right, we will now turn the time over to Cindy Norris Blake.
Good morning, thank you. So I'm coming before the board today to ask for the approval of a reinstatement of a position in the assessor's office. The position is the title examiner position. It's been vacant since May of this year. During the budget cycle, it was presented for a new software for the assessor's office to make the workflow better. They're still in the implementation phases. I believe it was just some misunderstanding and miscommunication to where the position was removed from their office. We also have a property appraiser 1 position that has been open for quite some time. Darlene is such a good steward of the funds of her department. There's no intention at this time to go ahead and fill that position, but they would like to move forward with reinstating this title examiner position to increase the staff in their department and make the workflow better. And this software implementation that's happening would only enhance this position. And I would entertain any questions you may have about this.
Any questions?
I just have I have excuse me, Paul. I have a comment on that, or a question, I guess. This is in the budget, so it's just reinstating it the way I read it. Is that correct, Cindy?
It is not. So during the budget cycle, again, I think it was just a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, but we understood that that software that they were purchasing, that the board authorized, would be replacing that employee, and that was not the intention. So it is not budgeted, and that's why I'm coming before the board to ask to please rebudget that position.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Acting Chairman, yeah, if it was misrepresented, it was represented, and it was the change. And I commented several times during the process, you know, that it's great that technologies move forward, that in return for I guess the equivalent of a year's salary, I've forgotten what the software package was, that we would be receiving the benefit of spending the money, investing, is that we would receive an efficiency benefit and be able to forego that employee because the software would allow that to happen. And it was represented as mutually exclusive, one for the other, and not well, we were not so sure, and we'll get back with you. It was a definite. If you invest in the software, you save the position. I'm not adverse. Let me go ahead and finish, Darlene. It was anyway. I am not the only person who heard that, and I'm not adverse to looking at restoring that position, but doing it mid-year rather than during the budget cycle. And the fact that the software hasn't even been, the money, we've spent the money, but it hasn't even been implemented. So we don't know what the effect and the value of the software is. And for us to say, okay, you get the software and the position, you know, that was not the original deal. And so I am willing to take a look at it at a future time. Once you have once the software is implemented, that's going to be the direction for my vote. But it will, so it's no for now, and maybe later, you know, we'll reconsider once we know more of the details. But that's the way it was marketed, sold to me, and that's I'm going to hold the department to it. And then take a look at it later on. That's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Darlene, would you like an opportunity to speak?
Good morning.
Good morning.
When we asked for the software to assist with our office, Valerie and I discussed this, and we decided at that time we would not replace the title examiner position. We absolutely had no intention of doing away with the job because we knew this was an experiment, that there's a good possibility we may need to come back and fill that position. You know, I first was elected and came into office. I had the opportunity of being mentored by Jean Reynolds, and I spent a lot of time in her office. And one of the things I remember she taught me was don't ever let go of a position. So this position, I never intended to let go of. And I remember being at the board meeting and asking for this software. And I remember, Paul, you said something about, and at that time in my mind, we were just putting it on hold. I mean, we weren't replacing it, but we were keeping the position. And I remember, and I can go back and look at the video because I was surprised by it. You said, well, this is great that we can have a software replace a person. And I was shocked that you said that, and I thought, well, he's just looking at the possibility. And I remember saying, well, we don't know yet. And at the time, I thought the position was still available. until I went into Cindy's office and said, we would like to advertise, we would like to fill that position, and she said it was canceled, and I was shocked. I had no idea. So Valerie Cook has been diagnosed with liver cancer. She's in surgery today. This is the position that works closely with Valerie. And she's going to be out for some time. I don't know how long. Anyway, I had no intention of letting this position go. We really need this position. The software, our IT, you know, our IT was overworked and short-staffed. So the software was put on hold, and so we've just been patiently waiting, and Valerie has taken the brunt of, you know, keeping up with things and other people in the office. So I talked to Allison yesterday. She is meeting with the software people today, and so hopefully we'll get that implemented. But bottom line is, we need this position, even if Valerie didn't have cancer, we need this position. But right now, my office is going to be limping for a while. So I'm asking if we can have this position. And like she said, we do have another position which we haven't filled. And, you know, I've been kicking myself for not filling that position, but just trying to be conservative. We thought, well, you know, maybe we can get by without it. We'll just see. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know where I'm coming from, and in my, you know, we serve the people of the county. We do all of the splits, the combos, the title transfers. That's what Valerie does. That's for this position, which is a huge thing. She checks every deed to make sure that the legal description closes, that it's correct. I mean, and so we serve the people of the county. And I feel that my office needs this position filled. And even then, it's going to be tough because we've got to do some training. And so I'm asking that we get this position filled. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darlene. Sean, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think that puts a whole new perspective on this decision. My heart goes out to Valerie, and my prayers for her and her family. Hope the outcome will be to everybody's liking. And, you know, Valerie is a big wheel to that, a key wheel to the function of that office. And knowing that and the short staffness of the assessor's office, I think it's pretty imperative that this position can be made available for the fact of the shorthandedness. And our assessor's office is busy all the time. They take a brunt of a lot of things. I want to do whatever we can to make that office function in a proper way. I think this situation was the assessor trying to be efficient and conservative, like she mentioned, and it was an experiment, and we see the need now of this. So I would have to take the stand that I support approving this position. So that's how I feel about it.
Well, thank you, Chairman. The word experiment was never mentioned. Communications are important, and intents, if they're not communicated, it's impossible to know what people's intentions are. But I'd like to get the money back for the software if it was an experiment that didn't work. Have we already purchased it? Well, thank you. And I'd just also like to add, I'm not a heartless person, and I feel profound sorrow and concern for the Cook family, but I really am very uncomfortable discussing this in public and without Valerie giving the approval to discuss it publicly. I sure hate to have it come up in a meeting. I don't know that that's quite, you know, we just, as far as personnel matters, we don't discuss people's conditions other than they're not available or they'll be out for a while. So anyway, I just expressed my concern on that. And so
May I
have nothing else.
interject and just add one more thing, please?
Yes.
The thing that I would like to add is, as mentioned, that property appraiser 1 position is budgeted. It will not be filled. And so we have like $63,000 that's there. There might be some movement with that position, and the only movement would be the potential of an employee within the department testing to be a property appraiser 1. So then that position would be left unfilled. That's kind of been how the movement has been within that department. There's always that cost savings really of 1 position not being filled but on the books. And I understand the concern about this. I really do. I did not want to come before the board and say, hey, I'm not sure what happened, but here we are asking for this. But I do believe that over this last period of time, they have found a deficit not having that position filled, and then the challenges that have occurred with implementing the software has also caused a lot of issues. So I just, if I'm coming sincerely before you. This is not something that I do normally during off-budget times, but I just, you know, am imploring for their department if we could consider reinstating that position that was already there.
And one last question. In the fact that the position was eliminated indicates to me that my interpretation was not the only. You know, that other people had heard and responded the same way, that it was the software for a position.
I do believe that because I recall, and I'm going to say I'm not the best one right now for this, because during the budget time this year, we went through a whole full open enrollment that did not go well. And my focus was definitely on insurance, and I was not my best during the budget cycle, but I do recall thinking, oh, okay, we're getting this software, that's what this is, it's going to be replacing that position. And so I did understand that as well, which was not correct. Again, I will be on my game next budget cycle, but I was not at that time, and I should have asked more questions.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm completely satisfied, and I'll change my position. I'll move to support. And did you have comments, Clay?
No, I valued Darlene's opinion, and I think the software is definitely going to help. But I think at the moment, if she feels like she needs to fill this position, and with Valerie's situation, I feel like I would be behind her and support her in her request.
Okay, I'll move then to that we go ahead and approve. Let me get the agenda so that I can get it exactly right. Approve.
And I will second that.
To reinstate the title examiner position in the assessor's office.
Okay, sorry, I'll second that.
All right. Could I get a vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you for your time.
Motion passes. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you everybody for coming. And
We have called to the public.
do we have anybody in the public?
It's a formality.
No,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we don't.
Okay. Thank everybody for coming, and this meeting will be adjourned.
Thank you, guys.